All right, welcome back to another game of On Base Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On Base. And in this game, we're going to replay a game between the 1980 Chicago Cubs and the 1980 Cincinnati Reds. This is using a prototype for the new Pocket Edition of On Base Baseball, which is, it's going to fit inside of... It's not going to be a tuck box. It's going to be called a hook box. And basically, the box sort of folds up, but when you undo it, it all kind of comes out. The instructions, the game guide, are going to be printed on the box itself. And the cards, instead of being this size, they'll be a little bit taller and maybe just a little wider, a touch wider. So they're going to have actually a little bit bigger card. They're called tarot size, so a tarot size card. And that gives us more space to add. I believe these are the batters, so I added 2 more batters for each team. And it also gave me space to make the print larger. So you can see here up against my palm, this is poker sized, and it is legible. It is able to be read, but making things just a little bit bigger probably is never a bad idea. So we're going to be able to get more players on there and still raise the font size. So that felt like a win-win to me. Plus, it fit better with the number of cards. There are about 35 cards, so going to fit with the number of cards. And then once that comes in, I've already ordered a proof of that. So when that comes in, I will show it here on the channel. Excuse me. Happy Labor Day to everybody. This is played Monday, September 2nd, 2024. So Labor Day morning. And let's get some Labor Day baseball. Let's go through the starting lineups. Leading off for the Cubs is going to be Lenny Randle, and then Ivan De Jesus. Bill is going to be at short. Bill Buckner is at first. Dave Kingman in left. Jerry Martin is in center field. Barry Foote will be catching. Carlos Lescano is going to be in right field. Mike Tyson is at second base. And the pitcher spot, which is going to be Rick Russell, he is going to be hitting ninth. For the Reds, it's going to be Dave Collins in center, leading off. Ray Knight is playing third and hitting second. Ken Griffey Sr. is in right field. He's hitting third. The heavy-hitting George Foster is in left. He's hitting fourth. Dan Dreesen is at first. He's hitting fifth. Johnny Bench is catching, hitting sixth. Dave Concepcion is, that's not very good. Concepcion. He's a shortstop. He's hitting seventh. Ron Oster is a second baseman, and he's hitting eighth. And then the pitcher is Frank Pastore with a 3.18 FIP. 28 is his stamina. He is going to be hitting ninth as the pitcher. Russell, a right-hander, also 29 is his stamina, and 3.25 is his FIP. So both pitchers will be coming off of this 0 to 350 card, and so we'll be using that for both of them. Should be a good matchup. Basically, I just went off of the starting lineups, which are always going to be in red. This is their most used lineup. And then you'll have all, well, not all, but you'll have a lot of the backups for most teams. There might be a handful of players, 3 to 5 players, that are not included on each card, but you're going to get somewhere between, let's see, this is this is 18, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16. So is that right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so we have 16 on this card. We'll have 18 batters on each card, and then maybe there's 1 or 2 teams where there were 1 or 2 pitchers left off. Otherwise, you're going to get all the pitchers for most other teams. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 pitchers here. So you're going to get anywhere between 30 and 40 players per team between the batters and the pitchers. So you should have a good amount. You may not be able to do exact replays where you bring in a guy for a cup of coffee or something like that, but you're gonna have a lot of players to be able to choose from, and these are most of the players who got into games for each team. All right, so let's get this one started. For on-base baseball, you need 2 D6s. It doesn't really matter about color, and you need a D10 or preferably a D9, but you can use a D10. So let's get this one started. It'll be Frank Pastore against Lenny Randle, Ivan DeJesus, and Billy Buckner starting off. So Randle is a -3. That puts him on this card here. Pastore is a 318. So we're going to look here always first on the pitcher card. So a 45 is a blank, and a 45 here is going to be a single with an error check. So that single goes to 6, which is to center field, and there's no error on the play. If it's not a 1 or a 2, it's not going to be an error for anybody. Randall, he runs at a 6, so let's go ahead and try to steal against Johnny Bench. And Pastore, it's a 2. It only has to be a 1 to 6 to get the steal. So he's in there with a stolen base. And just like that, the Cubbies have one in scoring position for Ivan DeJesus. 55 for a -16, and we're looking for when we're looking referencing these cards, we're looking at this batter column here. So 55 is going to be a line out or a foul out. If this is a 5 or greater, it's a 1. So that'll be a line drive, and that'll be a line out to 2. Now, in the rules instruction, and the instructions will not be on these cards anymore, but I do have them here somewhere. Oh, so if the outcome on a line out to the catcher, if the outcome is a line out to the catcher, then change the outcome to a pop-up to the catcher. So we're going to score that P2 just inside fair territory. Johnny Bench makes the catch, and that's going to be 1 down in the inning. Bill Buckner to the plate. Buckner, their best hitter that season. He's an 11 batting runs. He's on this card here. 44 is going to be nothing here, and that's going to be a walk to Buckner. And that will bring Dave Kingman to the plate. He's an 8 batting run, so he's here. And 11 is going to be a strikeout, as Kingman swings through a breaking pitch, and that's going to be 2 down with runners at first and second. This will be a high fly ball driven deep to left center field. Back on his horse is George Foster, and he'll make a nice running catch in left center for out number 3. So the Cubs strand 2, and we go to the bottom of the first inning, no score. Leading off is Dave Collins, then Ray Knight, and then Ken Griffey Sr. 34 is nothing off the pitcher. This will be Rick Russell, who has a 3.25 FIP, and a 34 is nothing here. On a 7 batting runs, a 34 is going to be a single with an asterisk. That means that it's a long single, so hit into the gap. In this instance, it's into the left center field gap. Dave Collins has an 8 speed, so he's actually going to turn that single into a hustle double as he slides in safely to second base and is in scoring position. Let's let Ray Knight hit away. A 23 is going to be a ground out, and that's a ground out with an error check. So this is hit to the second baseman, and there's no error at second base. So we're going to go 4-3 on the putout. The runner is going to advance on a fielder's choice hit to the right side. And that brings up Ken Griffey Sr. with an opportunity to drive in a run. 22 to a 20 batting runs is going to be a double or a triple. It's a triple if this is an 8 or greater. It is an 8. And so this is going to be ripped into the right center field gap, and Griffey is going to keep running as he drives in a run and he winds up at third base. And the Reds take a 1-0 lead on a Ken Griffey triple. So George Foster comes up with a man in scoring position. Foster, a 21 batting runs. 56, there's nothing here. So 56 here is a hit by pitch or a walk. This is a 2, so that's going to be a walk. And that'll put runners at the corners. Maybe not the worst thing in the world as you set up the double play. But with 2 on and 1 out, 1 already in for the Reds, it's Dan Dreesen to the plate, lefty first baseman. 34 to a 15 batting runs is going to be a fly out that goes out to right center or right field down the line, and that'll be out number 2. Ken Griffey's at third base. We're going to try to score him. He's got a speed of 7. So 1-7, he scores on the sacrifice fly. Otherwise, he'll be out at the plate in the inning over. Oh, it was a 9 and then went to a 5. So he's in there just under the tag. And we'll call that a sacrifice fly to right field. So 2 down in the inning, but it's a productive out. And the Reds have a 2-0 lead with Johnny Bench coming to the plate. George Foster stays at first base. A 33 is going to be a strikeout off of Russell's card, as Johnny Bench goes down for the 3rd out. But Cincinnati does put up 2 in the bottom of the 1st. They lead this one 2-0 over the Cubbies. Cubs send up Barry Foote, Carlos Lezcano, and Mike Tyson to the plate. Foote is a -5. 35 is a blank. And so we are going to call him on this card. So -5, a 35 is going to be a ground out that goes to second base. If you're wondering how I get that, it comes off of this die here. And for the fielding, you can see a 1-6 matches the appropriate infield position number. 7 or 8 is a shortstop. 9 is a second baseman. And then on the outfield, a 1-3 is to left. 4-6 is center. 7-9 is right. So those are in the game guide if you want to be a little bit more specific. Otherwise, you can just say ground out, fly out, however you want to do it. Sometimes it helps with things like you ground out to second base, you know the runner can go to third. So this brings up Lezcano for his first at bat. He's facing off against Pastore. 25 to a -2 is going to be a fly out with an error check. That's a fly out to dead center field. And it's Dave Collins in center. No problem, as he makes the out for out number 2. Brings up Mike Tyson. 55 to a -17. That's going to be a line out. I'm sorry, a 56 is a strikeout. So a 1-2-3 inning for Pastore. And he sets the Cubs down in order in the second. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Cincinnati is our score. On base is a pretty quick game. You can get a game in, typically, like if I'm not talking and stuff, typically 20 to 30 minutes. It just depends on how well pitched it is, how many changes you need to make at pitcher and stuff like that. 33 is going to be a strikeout, as Rick Russell gets Dave Concepcion swinging. And that's back-to-back Ks for him. I know it's a strikeout because we see up here. Ron Oster to the plate. He is a -2. A 22 is going to be a double or a triple if the D9 is an 8 or greater. It's a 9 as Ron Oster laces one down the line. And he's going to wind up at third with a triple as well. So a couple of big-time triples here for the Reds. Brings up the pitcher spot. The pitcher, a 66, is going to be a single or a home run if the D9 is a 9. It's a 2, and so that's going to be a base hit for Frank Pastore, who's going to drive in a run. Don't know what kind of batter he was, but he has an RBI single, and he is at first base with 1 out. 3-0 is the lead for Cincinnati. Collins to the plate. A 26 to him is going to be a ground out. That goes to the catcher. And what I like to do is I like to go ahead and throw down and get that base runner at second base. So we're going to say a fielder's choice there. And then what I'm going to do is roll against the batter's speed rating. So if it's a 1 to 8, he'll be safe at first. If it's a 9, he'll be out on a double play. It's a 9, and they get the double play, just nipping Dave Collins at first as it goes 2 to 6 to 3. And that's going to end the inning. Nice double play there by the Cubs, but they do give up 1. And it's 3-0 as we head to the top of the third. Cubs looking for a little offense and hoping the pitcher can get them started off right. A 46 is going to be a fly out. That's to left center field. The error check. There is no error. So that will be the left fielder, Foster, coming over to make the play. He's made a couple of nice catches out there. Back to the order, top of the order with Lenny Randall. Randall, a switch hitter. -3 batting runs. A 35 is going to be a ground out. That's right back to the pitcher. No problem as he flips it over to first base for out number 1 or 2. Ivan de Jesus to the plate. He popped out to the catcher his first at bat. He's going to walk here. A 23 is going to be a walk to de Jesus. So he winds up at first base. And let's see, trying to get a little something going. Let's see if he can steal second. A 1 to 6, he'll be safe. It's an 8, and he gets caught stealing the golden arm of Johnny Bench. And that's going to be an out. So the Cubs run themselves out of an inning, and it will be the bottom of the third inning. 3-0 is our score. Cincinnati over Chicago in this NL East matchup. Ray Knight, Ken Griffey, and George Foster to the plates. Ray Knight 0 for 1. He's got a 15 here. That's going to be a base hit. That's up the middle. When it's hit to 1, 4, 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, or 9. So not hit right to it in an outfield position. Anything but a 2, 5, or 8. 2, 5, or 8. I look and see, can they take an extra base, but no extra bases here. It's not very fast. So Ken Griffey to the plate. He had a triple in his first at-bat. This time he's going to ground out to the shortstop, but it's a little tapper. The only play is going to be to first base. So he makes the throw to first, and advancing on the fielder's choice is going to be Ray Knight. You can see here it's a ground out with an arrow. Ground out with an arrow means a ground out with a runner advancement. So the only play is to first, and all runners will advance. Brings up George Foster to the plate with a man in scoring position. A 24 to a 21 batting runs is going to be a double play or a strikeout. There's no double play in order here with the runner at second and no force out anywhere. So that's going to be a strikeout looking. And we got 2 outs in the inning and a runner in scoring position. This will be another ground ball. This one hit sharply to the shortstop. And the shortstop is who? De Jesus. He's going to make the play over to first. And Russell pitches around a leadoff single. And Cincinnati doesn't score. It's 3-0 as we go to the top of the fourth. Got a little Labor Day baseball for you here. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Leading off is Billy Buckner. He's going to fly out here to deep left field. Standing at the warning track is going to be George Foster, who gets there ahead of the ball and makes the catch. Buckner now 0 for 1. Brings up Dave Kingman to the plate. Kingman with a strikeout in his first at bat. Not a huge surprise there. He is going to strike out again, and that's going to be 2 strikeouts for Dave Kingman today. The big man who takes a big hack. Brings up Jerry Martin to the plate. Martin flied out in his first at bat. He's a -10. He is going to strike out here, and that is back-to-back strikeouts for Frank Pastore. And he sets the Cubs down in order again in the fourth. We get to the bottom of the fourth. 3-0 is our score. Johnny Bench, Dave Concepcion, and Ron Oster for the Reds. We're going to get a strikeout here as Johnny Bench down for the second time on strikes. And Rick Russell takes care of him with a changeup. That'll bring up Dave Concepcion. Concepcion's going to ground out here, a little too hopper to short. No problem for DeJesus as he makes a good strong throw to first. And that's out number 2. Brings up Ron Oster. Oster tripled in his last at-bat. 44 is going to be a fly out. This one to the line in left field. It hangs up for the left fielder Kingman. And he'll make the catch just inside fair territory down the left field line. That's out number 3. And we head to the top of the 5th inning now. It's 3-0 Cincinnati over Chicago. Chicago looking for any kind of offense they can get. And let's see if they can get it from the bottom of the order. It'll be Barry Foote, Carlos Lezcano, and Mike Tyson. Barry Foote's going to hit this one hard. Into right center field. Chasing it down is the right fielder, Ken Griffey, and he's in the gap and makes a nice running catch in right center field near the wall. And that's going to be out number 1. Lezcano to the plate, flied out to center field in his first at bat. 25 is going to be another fly out, this one to right center. And that's going to be an error on the right fielder, sorry. It'll be Griffey who gets there, and it bangs off of his glove. So we're going to say E9 on the play. And standing at first base is Lezcano. Maybe that's the break that they needed. We'll see. A 56 is going to be a strikeout, though, to Mike Tyson. And he is going to strike out swinging. That'll be out number 2. And Rick Russell to the plate. Let's see if the pitcher can help his own cause. He's not going to. That's going to be back-to-back strikeouts for Pastore, who's done a good job of limiting any damage today. That's strikeout number 2, 4, 6 on the night. And the Cubs get one on with the error, but they strand him at first base. It's still 3-0 Cincinnati over Chicago as go to the bottom of the 5th. A couple times through the order, we start looking at our stamina. 29 for Rick Russell, so he's got plenty of time. Same for Frank Pastore, he can go 28 batters before we need to drop him down a card. Leading off for Cincinnati is the pitcher Pastore. 35 to him is going to be a strikeout. So that's out number 1 as Russell gets the K. 2, 4, 5 strikeouts for him now in the first 4 1/3 innings. Got Dave Collins to the plate. He hit into an inning-ending double play. He's also got a double with a run scored. 23 to his 7 batting runs is going to be a ground out. This is to 5, so that's to the third baseman. And there is no error on the play. So a nice throw over to first. It's low, but it's handled by Billy Buckner. And that's going to be out number 2. Coming to the plate is Ray Knight, right-handed batter. He is 1 for 2. He had a single in his last at-bat, but this time he's going to ground out to the second baseman. So no problem at second for Tyson, who makes a good throw to first. And that's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Rick Russell and the Cubs. We head to the top of the 6th, 3-0 Cincinnati over Chicago. Go back to the top of the order with Lenny Randle. Randle's going to swing through a fastball as Pastore gets him for strikeout number 7 on the night. 1 down, and DeJesus to the plate. He's a minus 16 batting runs. He's 0 for 1. He had a walk in his last at-bat and then got caught stealing. 23 to a minus 16 is going to be another walk as he gets on base for the second time. Billy Buckner to the plate. This will be a ground ball to first base. We're going to go to second and get that out. And let's roll against Bill Buckner's speed, which is a 2. So anything greater than 2, and he's going to be out at first on a double play. It's a 6, and they double up the very slow-footed Bill Buckner as we go 3-6-3 on the put out, and that's an ending double play. IIDP. I don't know. That's easier to say than ending. IEDP. All right. Anyway, that double play ends the inning, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 3-0 Cincinnati over Chicago. Cincinnati's going to send up Ken Griffey, George Foster, and Dan Dreesen, heart of the order for the Reds. Reds at home in Cincinnati's Riverfront Stadium. Sort of getting to the end of their era in between that Big Red Machine era of the 70s and the really good teams from the late 80s, early 90s. We got a 44 to Ken Griffey. He's 1 for 2. He's a 20 batting run, so 44 is going to be a walk as he winds up at first base. Griffey, good speed, so let's go ahead and try to steal and get him to second base. So 1-7, he'll be safe. It is a 7, and he's in there just under the tag. So a stolen base for Ken Griffey, and he's at second base for George Foster. Let's see if Foster can bring him in. A 34 for Foster. A 34 is going to be a fly ball. That goes out to right center field. The right fielder is going to make the catch. That's Lescano and right. Staying at second base is Griffey. And Dan Dreesen will get a shot to knock him in here. He's got a sac fly already. A 15 to a 15 batting runs is going to be a ground out. This one is right back to the pitcher. Pitcher snags it, looks the runner back to second, and makes a good throw to first. So Griffey in danger of being stranded unless Johnny Bench can bring him home. A Bench is a 12 batting run, so he's here. A 14 to him is going to be a base hit as he laces one into left center field, and that'll be an RBI single for Johnny Bench. With 2 outs, I give base runners an extra base, so he gets 1 for the single to third, and then 1 coming home with the extra base. So Johnny Bench, RBI single, puts the Reds up 4-0. And Dave Concepcion to the plate. 44 to Concepcion is going to be a walk. That'll put runners at first and second with 2 down. And Ron Oster coming to the plates. Oster gets a hold of one out to straightaway right field. It's going to be in the park, and the right fielder is Lescano. He's got room. He reaches up and grabs it, and that's going to be out number 3. But the Reds do get 1 more. They lead this one 4-0 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Frank Pastore still out there for the Reds. He'll face off against the middle of the order for the Cubs. It'll be Kingman, Martin, and Foote. Kingman is 0 for 2. He's got a couple of strikeouts. A 25 is going to be a fly out as he touches one this time down the right field line. Coming in hard to the line is the right fielder, Ken Griffey, and he makes a fine running catch in right field, making up for that error in the last inning. Or 2 innings ago, I guess now. Brings up Jerry Martin. Martin is 0 for 2. He struck out in his last at-bat. A 34 to a -10 is going to be a base hit as he hits one past the second baseman into right center field. No threat to steal at first, so Barry Foote's going to hit away. A 46 to a -5 is a double play or a strikeout with a double play in order. We're going to go 3-6-3 as he hits that one to first base. And that is going to be an auto double play, and that gets the Reds out of the 7th. So, Chicago down 4-0 now as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. We are at 26 batters. Rick Russell can go 29. Let's leave him out there for 1 more inning and see how he does against the top of the order here. So it'll be the pitcher and then back to the top with Collins and Knight. 24 to the pitcher is going to be a strikeout as Russell racks up another K as he gets the pitcher looking. And that brings up Dave Collins. Collins is 1 for 3. He's a 7 batting run, so 23 is going to be a ground out with an error check. That ground out goes to the shortstop. And there is no error on the play. So nice throw over to first from De Jesus. And that gets Collins. Ray Knight is up next. He's 1 for 3. He's a -2 batting run, so 15 to him is going to be a base hit as he wraps one right up the middle. Into center field, and he's at first base with 2 outs. King Griffey to the plate. He's 1 for 2. He's got a walk, a couple runs scored, a triple, an RBI. And what is he going to add here? He's going to add a single as this one is hit to right field. There is an error on the right fielder too, as he has a hard time picking the ball up. So that's going to be a single with an E9. And it's going to go here on the E9. All right, so runners at second and third now. And George Foster to the plate. See if Russell can get out of this inning. A 15 to a 21 batting runs is going to be a ground out as he hits a 2-hopper to short. Long throw to first. And that is going to be, this is out number 2 and out number 3. So the Reds get runners to second and third base, but they can't get them in. And we'll go to the top of the 8th inning, still 4-0 Cincinnati. Frank Pastore on the mound, and he is at 27, 6, 5, 24 batters. He can go 28. So let's leave him out there one more inning. Leading off is going to be Lescano. Lescano made it to first on an error on King Griffey in the last at-bat. This time he's going to lace one down the right field line. This is going to turn into a triple for Lescano, who has good speed. He's a 6 speed, and he slides in safely to third. Brings up Mike Tyson to the plate. Tyson with a 14. 14 is going to be a walk. So storm clouds brewing here as the Cubs, down by 4, look to have a rally. Let me put this on hold, and I will bring in a pinch hitter. All right, the pinch hitter is going to be Mike Vail. Vail, 2 batting runs. -1 is his defense, 3 is his speed, and he's got runners at the corners. Frank Pastore is still in the game. He is on his last legs, and we're going to see if he can get out of this one. So Vail is going to come in for the pitcher, Russell. We'll have a new pitcher coming for the Cubs in the bottom of the 8th. No outs. Vail to the plate. He is he's a +2. A 15 is going to be a base hit as he wraps one into right center field. And that will push this runner to second base. And that's going to be an RBI single for Mike Vail coming off the bench. And he throws up an RBI. Tyson is a 4, so we're going to hold him at second base. And that'll turn the lineup back over to the top. It'll be Lenny Randle. Randle 1 for 3. And against Pastore, he's a -3. And a 15 is going to be another single as he bounces one through the box. And that will push all the runners up one base. And that will load the bases. You can't really do better than Pastore, so we're going to leave him in there. De Jesus is up. He's 1 for 3. Let's see if he can come up with a big hit. A 34 to a 14, or a -16, sorry. 34 is going to be a single as he hits one through the left side into left center field. And that's going to be an RBI single. And that'll move all the runners up. This guy's going to come home from third. It's now 4-2. Vail is a 3 on his speed, so I'm not going to try that with bases loaded and nobody out. At this point, we're going to get a new pitcher in for the Reds. And the way these work is you have all of your starters here from most used to least used, and then it starts over. So you have your relievers in black. These are your most used ones down to your least used ones. So Mario Soto is going to come into the game. He's a righty who can go 15 batters, and a 295, pretty sparkling FIP. For him, he is going to come in here in the 8th inning. He goes 7 innings, gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits now. No runs yet, and 1, 2, 3, 4 walks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. So good start for Frank Pastore, but we're going to get a new pitcher in here. It'll be Mario Soto. Let's see if Soto can put out the fire. We're going to play the infield in. That means any double plays are going to go home to first. The bases are loaded. We're going to go home to first on any double plays, and on any fielder's choice, we're just going to go home and get the runner at home. So that's how that's going to work. Billy Buckner to the plates. Buckner and 11 batting runs. A 15 to him is going to be a ground ball. That goes right to the the shortstop. So that's going to be a ground out, just a regular old ground out. So we're going to make the play at home. So this guy's going to be out 6-2. So that's going to be out number 1. And then now we need to see about the double play. So Buckner runs at a 2. If he's a 1 or a 2, he'll be safe at first. Otherwise, it's going to be a double play. There'll be 2 outs. And he is out at first. So he grounds into a 6-2-3 double play. He's out number 2. This guy goes here on the fielder's choice. He goes here. So we wind up with runners at second and third, as Soto gets exactly what he needs. Sharp grounder to the shortstop. They get a 6-2-3 double play. And it'll be Dave Kingman to the plate with 2 on and 2 already in. So Kingman can tie this up with a base hit. He's 0 for 3. It's a 15 to an 8 batting runs. That's going to be a base hit. That's going to be up the middle. And Dave Kingman comes through in the clutch with a 2 RBI single as he drives in Randall from third, and coming around to score from second base is DeJesus, and the Cubs are right back into this one as Soto blows the lead, and it'll be Jerry Martin to the plate. 26 to Martin, and he's a -10. That'll be a ground out to the shortstop. No error on the play. So we'll go to first on that one. That's out number 3. So they almost squeak out of it with the home to first double play, but the Cubs come in and roar into the 8th, scoring 4 runs. It's now 4-4 as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's get a new pitcher for the Cubbies. New pitcher for the Cubs is going to be Bill Caudle. He'll replace Russell. He's a righty that can go 7 batters. 343 is his FIP, so no need to change any of those things. Russell goes 7 innings. Gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. And I believe all the runs were earned. He had 1, 2, 3 walks. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strikeouts. So pretty good start for him. He is not going, neither starter is going to be on the hook for a win. So this is going to be a reliever's ball game. So Bill Caudle is going to be in the game. He'll be facing off against Dreesen, Bench, and Concepcion. Both of these pitchers are on this same card here. And the Reds are going to need to put it together to pull this one off. It will be Dreesen first. He's 0 for 3. He does have a sac fly. 35 to a 15 batting runs is going to be a strikeout. Bench to the plate. A 16 is going to be a deep drive to left field. This one has a chance, but the wind keeps it in, and it's caught right at the warning track as the crowd oohs and ahs. But ultimately, it's a fly out to left, and that'll bring up Concepcion, who's a minus 13 batting runs. A 34 is going to be a base hit through the left side as Concepcion gets around one, and he will be at first with 2 outs. Dare we steal? I think we should. Let's get him into scoring position. A 1, 2, 6. He'll be safe. It's a 5, and he's in there just ahead of the throw. So Concepcion steal with wheels enough to get himself into scoring position. It'll be Ron Oster to the plate. Oster is 1 for 3, and let's see if he can put the Reds on top. He won't. This will be a ground out to the catcher, a little tapper in front of the plate, and with 2 outs, just going to go to first base. And Caudill gets out of that one, and we go to the top of the 9th inning. It is tied at 4 as the Cubs put up 4 runs in the top of the 8th to tie this one up. It'll be Barry Foote, Carlos Liscano, and Mike Tyson to the plate. First up is Barry Foote. Barry, is that right? Yes. Maybe I said Bill. Barry Foote. He's a minus 5 batting runs. A 16 and is a fly out. Deep fly out where the runners advance. So this one's hit deep down the left field line into the left field corner. Going over is George Foster and makes a nice play in the corner for out number 1. Brings up Lescano. He tripled and scored in his last at bat. This time he is going to hit into a ground out. This one goes to second base. No problem at second base for Ron Oster, who makes a good throw over to first. And it's all on Mike Tyson's shoulders here. He's a minus 17 batting runs. Can he do the impossible? Possibly. A 66 to a minus 5. It's a single or a home run if the D9 is a 7. Almost. As he hits one into right center field. And Mike Tyson is on. Let's go ahead and get another pinch hitter for the Cubs. We got Tim Blackwell. Actually, let's go with Larry Bittner. Don't really like burning catchers. Pinch hitter in the 9th is Bittner. Minus 13, 0, and 3. So not a great opportunity here. They don't have a lot coming off the bench. But Bittner is going to get a shot to drive in the run here. He's a minus 13. So he's got a double will score a run. And he's got that on a 22 only. It's possible for him to hit a home run as well, but highly unlikely. A 34 from Mario Soto to the pinch hitter Bittner. A 34 is going to be a base hit as he hits one over the shortstop's head into left center field. With 2 outs, that's going to push the runner to third base. And remember, they get an extra base with 2 outs. And that brings up Lenny Randle. Let's see if Lenny Randle can be the hero. Top of the 9th inning, tie ball game. This is what every kid dreams of. It's Lenny Randle to the plate. He's 2 for 4 on the day. He's got a run scored and a stolen base. 55 to a minus 3 is a line out or a foul out if the D9 is a 6 or greater. It's a 6, so this is going to be a foul out. And we'll call that a foul out to the first baseman. And that's going to end the threat. So the Cubs get 2 on in the 9th, but they can't bring them around to score. We're still tied at 4. This is the Cubs at the Cincinnati Reds, 1980. It was a snoozer for most of the game, and then the Cubs put up 4 runs in the 9th off of Pastore and Soto. In fact, let's give them the see who came around to score. So all of the players were on base. So I believe all of these runs are going to be charged to Pastore. All right, so it will be bottom of the order. We're going to get a new pitcher, a new pinch hitter in for the Reds. So let's go with Cesar Geronimo. How about that? Let's see if he can bring back some magic from 1975 into 1980. -4, 1, and 3. So Cesar Geronimo is going to be pinch hitting for the Reds. Let's see if we can get on and cause some issues on the bases. He's facing off against Bill Cotto. 14 to a -4 is going to be a walk as he gets on with a leadoff walk. His speed is just a 3. Let's see, do they have anybody faster? Let's go with Sam Mejias. Mejias will be the pinch runner. I think that's how you do that. So Sam Mejias, the pinch runner, he is a 6 speed. So let's go ahead and try to steal second with him in front of all the big guys. 1 to 6, he'll be safe. This is quite a chance I'm taking here. Pretty afraid. Oh! It's an 8. He gets caught stealing. All right. Dave Collins to the plate. Might have ruined our chances here. I don't know. Dave Collins is a +7 batting runs. A 15 to him is going to be a base hit. Maybe it doesn't matter. That's going to be a base hit to right center field. He's an 8. And so we're going to try to turn that into a hustle double as the Reds are putting on the pressure here. A 1 to 8, he's going to be safe at second base with a hustle double. A 9, he'll be out. It's a 7, and he is in there just ahead of the throw. So that turns into a 2-bagger. So hustling right out of the box is Dave Collins as he hits it into right center field and takes advantage of the right fielder, Lescano. You could do all kinds of things with that. If if the defender is a plus defender, you could drop down his speed or something like that. All right, man in scoring position for Ray Knight. There is 1 out in the inning. A 12 is going to be a ground ball. This is a little tapper just past the pitcher. The only play is going to be to first base, and that's actually going to move the runner over to third, and that'll be 2 outs in the inning. So runner at third base. Base hit will score a run. This is Ken Griffey to the plate. Griffey is 2 for 3, and let's see if he can be a big winner at home. A 24 to a 20 batting runs is going to be a strikeout as he can't even get the bat off his shoulder. That's going to be the 3rd out, and big time pitch there by Bill Cotto as he strands a runner at third base, and we are going to extras in this one. We're going to need to get a new pitcher in for the Reds. So the new pitcher will be Tom Hume. And we're just going to go down the line here. 3-2-3 with a 7. So he replaces Mario Soto. Soto goes 1 and 2/3. Is that right? Yeah. So he goes 7.1. So 1.2. He gives up 1, 2, 3 hits. No runs. No walks and no Ks. So, all right. So we got a new pitcher, Tom Hume. Hume is a righty. 3-2-3 is his FIP, so he's coming off of this card. Some pretty good pitchers here coming in, and we're in the top of the 10th. It'll be DeJesus, Buckner, and Kingman for the Cubs. See if somebody can do something special and poke one out of the park in this ball game. A 23 is going to be a walk. Third walk of the game for Ivan DeJesus. And that brings up Bill Buckner. Speaking of special, 22 is going to be a double laced into the right center field gap for Bill Buckner. And that's going to be 2 bags for him. Going to third is DeJesus. And they're going to send him as he is rounding third. With a man already in scoring position, they're going to go for it. DeJesus is a 1-6 to score from first, and let's see if he does. It's a 2, and he's in there safely as they cut off the throw. And he scores on the double. Billy Buckner in the 10th with an RBI double. Nobody out and a runner at second base for Dave Kingman. Still an opportunity for more runs here. A 55 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. So no double play there. So that'll be a strikeout. Third K of the day for Kingman. He's got the hat trick. He does have a 2 RBI single. He tied up the game in the 8th with a clutch base hit. That brings up Jerry Martin. A 15 to Jerry Martin is going to be a grounder to short. That's a hard grounder. Going to look the runner back to second. Make a good throw to first. And it will be Barry Foote to the plate. That's Concepcion making a nice defensive play. Barry Foote to the plate. He's 0 for the day. Base hit would score a run and put them up by 2. And he's going to do better than that as he rips a double into the left center field gap. That one gets all the way to the wall. And Barry Foote is going to cruise into second base, clapping his hands all the way as he puts the Cubs up by 2. And the Cubs, who were dead in the water most of the game, have put it together. They've got 5 runs in the last 3 innings. And that brings Lescano to the plate. A -2, a 15 for him is going to be a base hit. And they just keep the merry-go-round going. That's an RBI single into right center field for Lescano. And the Cubs are now up by 3. So 7-4 is our score in the top of the 10th inning. The Cubs trying to put this one away against Hume, Tom Hume. Up to the plate is Mike Tyson. He's a -17. A 35 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. So Hume is going to end this one as he gets Tyson looking. And that will be out number 3. But the Cubs put a crooked number up in the top of the 10th. And that one's going to be hard to come back from for the Cincinnati Reds, as we need to get a new pitcher in for the Cubs. Dick Tidrow is going to be... Actually, I like Sutter. Let's just bring in Bruce Sutter. I don't even know how much he got to pitch, but he's on here, and I'm going to put him in. So 7 is his stamina, 293. So Bruce Sutter into the game. And he's here. He's replacing Bill Caudill, who goes 2 innings. Sorry. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we're in extra innings. I was like, hey, that doesn't match up. All right, he goes 2 innings. He gives up 1, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 Ks. So good relief performance from Bill Caudill. And we're going to bring in Bruce Sutter into the game. See if he can close this one out. The coffee's gone, so that means that the game must be over. Sorry, Cincinnati. George Foster is up. And then Dan Dreesen. And then Johnny Bench. 0 for 3 for George Foster today. A 55 to George Foster is going to be a strikeout. So Sutter gets things started right, and he gets things started quickly. Dan Dreesen to the plate. He's 0 for, I guess he's 0 for 3 at a sac fly. A 35 is going to be a strikeout. So back-to-back Ks for Sutter as he comes in. He's trying to close the door shut with the nails and the chair up against it, but he's not going to do it. Johnny Bench with a double laced into the gap in center field. And that rolls all the way to the left center field wall. He's standing up at second. And a little bit of life now as Dave Concepcion stands in. Concepcion is 1 for 3. He's a minus 13. A 35 for him is going to be a base hit up the middle. That's going to score Bench from second base, and that tightens up things just a little bit. RBI single for Dave Concepcion brings up Ron Oster. Don't have really anybody on the bench that's going to be better than Ron Oster, but Oster is going to bounce out into a harmless ground ball to Mike Tyson. He throws it to first. I'm just really trying to hold myself back from doing any punch-out jokes. Anyway, Mike Tyson with the third out, and Cincinnati scores 1 in the bottom of the 10th, but that comes too short of the 3 that Chicago put up, and Chicago is going to win this one in a comeback fashion by a score of 7-5, and wow, what a game. Not expecting the Chicago offense to get off the mat as they spent the entire game not doing much of anything. But they come back against Hume, and they put up 3 in the 10th, and they put up 4 against the starter Pastore in the 8th, and they score 7 runs in the final 3 innings to win this one 7-5. I will put this on hold and come back for the totals in this one. All right, and we're back with the totals. Chicago wins this one 7-5 over the Reds at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's 7 runs on 12 hits and 1 error for the Cubs, 5 runs on 12 hits and 1 error for the Reds. Player of the game, I'm going to give that to Bill Cottle. I'm also giving him the win here, and the save goes to Bruce Sutter. Sutter, maybe you say. Bruce Sutter. Tom Hume is going to take the loss as he gives up 3 hits and 3 runs in the top of the 10th inning, and pretty tough there. That's an RBI double from Buckner, and that's followed up by an RBI double from Barry Foote, and then an RBI single from Lescano as the Cubbies put up 3 runs in the 9th inning. In the 10th inning. They had 4 in the 8th with the leadoff triple from Lescano, which Lescano, sort of player 1B, player of the game 1B. A walk to Tyson, a pinch hit single from Mike Vail, another single from Lenny Randle, an RBI single from DeJesus, and then the big one was a 2 RBI single from Dave Kingman. With 2 on the pond and 2 outs, he comes through with a base knock that tied the ball game at that moment at 4, and basically wound up sending us to extra innings. Cotto came in, and he set down the Reds for 2 innings, kept the Cubs right there, and then the Cubs come back with 3 in the top of the 10th. So excellent ball game here. Good job from both teams. I thought the Cubs were way out of this one as the Reds were handling them all the way up until the 8th inning, and then wheels sort of fell off for the Reds. This is being played with On-Base Baseball. You can get On-Base Baseball at clarkandaddisongaming.com, and if you click on that big green button in the top right, you can go to all of the games that we have, and then on the left side you can filter by the different types of games or different types of sports. On-Base Baseball, you can purchase several seasons. This is 1980. You can actually purchase this season in the carded form as well as roster sheets. So I have 2 different ways that you can purchase a season. The cards look like this. These are the individual player cards that you get for On-Base Baseball. So you can see they're a little bit bigger than a poker size. They're a little bit closer to the tarot size cards. A little bit wider and a little bit taller. And this is going to be about the size card that you're going to get for these printed cards. But you can see they have the batting, defense, and speed values on here. It also has a bunch of different statistics, and it takes all of these charts and it puts them right on the player card. So whatever the chart is for the -5 or less than -5, that would be Marquise Grissom's card for 1995. So it gets put around on the card. You can play with the cards. You get every batter who got at least, I can't remember if I do 10 or 20 plate appearances, and then pitchers who have 10 or 20 batters faced. So you get a gazillion players, and you get them carded, or you can get them with the roster sheets. And now roster sheet is going to be a spreadsheet basically with all of that same data that I just showed you on the card. It's just in a roster sheet, spreadsheet form, which keeps you from having to print out all the cards and do the cutting and stuff like that. So if you don't like that, you can print the roster sheets. Basically, you do what I did here, which is take all of their main numbers, put them onto the score sheet, and then you use a game engine chart. I don't know if I have one nearby. I don't think I do. I don't have a game engine chart nearby, but basically the game engine chart is this, just put into a chart form. Pitchers on one side, batters on one side, and then each of these is a column that you just use with each player. And then basically you're looking up their batting runs. You find the appropriate column for the batter. You're looking up the pitcher's FIP. You find the appropriate column for the pitcher. And then you just do the same thing. You look and see if there's a result. If not, you go over to the batter charts, and then you'll resolve it with the appropriate batter column. You'll get it. If you watch this game, you'll understand everything. It's just all of this is the same way to play, just different ways to play the same game. So it's nothing different. The game is exactly the same. It's played exactly the same. It's just a different way of getting the game to you. So this will be pre-printed, pre-cut cards that will come in its own special tuck box. You'll have an entire season inside of a box that's a little bit bigger than this. It'll be a little bit taller and maybe a little bit wider, and definitely a little bit thinner than that. And then all you need is your dice and your score sheet, and you're ready to go with that. It's a super portable travel companion. Even if you had a book, if you had a blank notebook or a line notebook, you could put out your score sheets, and you could just put all your games into a notebook. If you didn't want to print out any of these, and you can take your notebook, take your dice, and take your cards, and you'd have a super duper portable 1980 season replay, which is pretty cool. If you wanted something a little bit more grounded and at home, you can take, you can buy the PDF version where you print your cards. Everything is just $15 for the entire season. So you get the cards and the roster sheets, plus you get all of I have two different types of score sheets. One is per at bat, which I prefer, like this, and then it gives you some space here for putting game totals if you wanted to total everybody's game stats here. And then the other one is by inning, so sort of a traditional 1 to 12 or 10 innings or whatever it is over here. And then you just do it inning by inning, kind of do the stagger of the inning by inning. So whatever you prefer to do, but on that one you don't have the game totals, so that's the difference. But on these score sheets, there's specifically spaces for batting, defense, and speed. You can also use a digital score keeper like iScore or Digital Diamond or Green Fox. Any of those will work just fine. Green Fox, you just put in your batting, defense, and speed as you configure the score sheet with that. So I've done that before too. Makes it super easy and very portable because it's just on your computer. and that makes it really portable to take. And with the cards and something like Green Fox or iScore or whatever, you have like a really, really portable full season replay that you can play at home. You can also take it on the road with you if you do like business trips or you take vacation or whatever. You could take your game with you pretty easily, and it would be a very small footprint. So that's on-base baseball. Try to think about all the different ways that I can help you as a gamer. If you have any other thoughts or comments or questions or concerns, you can leave them down in the comments section. You can also email me at clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com. This is sort of the flagship game for Clark and Addison. This is the first game I came up with. It is easy to play. It moves quickly. It doesn't take a lot of dice or a big footprint. And there are multiple different ways that you can play it. I'm just showing you some of the ways that I like to play it, and using most of like the built-in rules. But you could do all kinds of things. You get all these values here that you can play with for pitchers and hitters, and there are even more. If you get the stats and stuff like that, and you say, hey, this guy only hit 1 home run, so this is, instead of a home run 7, I'm going to flip that to a home run -9 and just give them a chance for a home run, but not as good a chance as what you're seeing here, because these are just built off of averages for players in these particular ranges. So for players from a 10 to a 30 batting runs in that season, this is based off of the average of all those players. So obviously some of those players are more, you have Rod Carew, right? Who's not hitting very many home runs, but he's as good a run producer. So maybe you want to flip a home run. Where would it be? So you want to flip this home run, and maybe you want to say, if I hit on that home run with Rod Carew, then I'm going to roll my D10, and a 1 to 5 is going to be a home run. A 6 to 10 is going to be a double, or something like that. That way you kind of cut down and you bring a little bit more realism into it, because Rod Carew is that kind of run producer. He's a 20+ batting runs, but he's not the same as a guy who hit 29 home runs, that kind of thing. So you can massage this the way you want, make it more realistic, make it less realistic, however you want to do that. It's really up to you. This is just sort of a vanilla canvas for you to paint whatever game you want. So you can bring in things from other games. You can create your own sort of house rules or home rules. The game is totally complete by itself if you just want to play it. There's nothing you have to add. But if you wanted to add more in the base running or more in the fielding, I already talked about the if you're trying to take an extra base, and let's say it's hit to Dave Kingman, and he's a minus defender. If you want to add one to a player's speed when he's trying to take an extra base, because Kingman's not a very good outfielder, and then if it was hit to a better outfielder, I don't know, they don't have one. They don't have any plus outfielders, but if they had a plus outfielder, maybe you want to subtract 1 from the running speed and then roll to see if you got there. So just come up with some house rules if you want. You can share those on the Facebook group if you're on Facebook. I encourage you to join the Clark and Addison Gaming Facebook group. Just go to the groups, search for Clark and Addison Gaming Company, and it's a private group, so you have to answer a couple questions, agree to the group rules. But then if you do that, I'm happy to let you in. They're not hard questions. It's not a test. It's just trying to see, what are your favorite games? What do you like to play? And then agree to the group rules just to keep bots out and keep any spam out. So just keep it focused on baseball, not baseball, but on sports, tabletop sports, gaming, and what we're doing at Clark and Addison Gaming Company. You all on YouTube get a lot of sort of our first look at a lot of things. On Facebook, that's where everything goes first. So that group is going to know more than what I share in other Facebook groups or on Delphi or whatever. But they're also going to get the first look. Like this video is going to get posted there first. So you get a little bit of advance notice. That's where everything that I do is going to go into. I don't always share everything, across other Facebook groups. So if you want to get all of the news and you want to get all of the things I'm working on and you want to have some say in, questions that I have about gaming or the gaming community or the things that I'm creating, then you can go to the Clark and Addison Facebook group, join that, and you will be in the know. That's as in the know as you can be. If you haven't subscribed here, click subscribe. That is a good signal to Google that we're doing something good and that people are enjoying themselves when they come here. If you like the video, you can also click the little thumbs up. That's a really easy way to support what we're doing. Doesn't seem like much, but it actually goes pretty far when you give a thumbs up to the videos that you like. And if you really like it, share it. Share it with somebody you know. Tell somebody about this game. This game is mature. It's got plenty of seasons at this point and still creating more seasons for it. So it's not like it's going away. There are different types of ways that you can buy. You can buy decade roster sheets where you get a decade of players all at the same time. So if you like the 80s or the 90s or the 70s or the 60s or the 50s or whatever you like, you can get a whole decade of players in roster sheet form separated by year, and you can play out a lot of baseball for $15. You won't get the cards. You'll only have the roster sheets. But if you like that, if you like the roster sheets and you don't mind doing the transfer over and playing like that, then that's a great way to go. I also have the 1980 roster sheet set in a printed, like a nicely bound and printed form. So trying that out too with any seasons that I have. And you can purchase that at the Game Crafter. So you go to thegamecrafter.com and look for Clark and Addison Gaming Company or look for On Base Baseball and you'll be able to find that. That's where I'm also going to be doing the printing of the cards. So there'll be a little bit more there as time goes by. And if this is successful and if people like this better than the roster sheets, I'll just stick with this. If people like both, I'll do both for the new seasons that come out. I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on the 80s, so maybe 86 will be next. And I know that's a really popular season for a lot of people. For myself, like 1989 was probably the first time that I really paid attention to professional baseball. I mean, I was playing as a kid all the time, but 89 was the first time I remember like the World Series being appointment television for me. I would have been 11 years old, and you're kind of in that moment, right, at 11, where that's the golden age for most of us. So my golden age was 1989, 1990. Love Will Clark, love Kevin Mitchell, and I love watching San Francisco. And I was in awe of watching the A's and Henderson and Canseco and McGuire and just Carney Lansford, all the things that they were doing. Just a really, Tony Phillips was on that team and Dave Stewart and Eck. And I mean, that was a great team, 1990. And that was like 89, 90. That was like the heart of my sort of golden age of childhood with Major League Baseball. And so I remember watching and getting ready to watch the game when the earthquake hit. And, it was like surreal in a lot of ways. So I would like to do that season too, I think. I mean, I just love Will the Thrill. He was my favorite baseball player for a long time. Loved the way he hit. I loved his attitude and just he was a cool guy, but not like affable or anything like that. But real down to earth and I loved the way he hit. I used to like mimic his batting stance and all that kind of stuff. And then when he came in and played for the Rangers, I got to see him all the time, on TV and stuff like that, growing up in Texas. And so it was really cool to see Will Clark. Had his batting card, like his rookie card, and just loved having Will Clark. So anyway, that's a trip down the lane for me. And so I'm going to start doing a little bit more in the 80s and the 90s. I've already got 1991, great season for the Braves. That was, like my year. I was started to turn toward the Braves. I think we got cable that year. And so I was watching the Braves and the Cubs. And so I really got into Braves Cubs with WGN and WTBS, like so many people from who are my age. That's how we became Braves fans, and just kind of stuck. That 91 series was unbelievable. I still watch it and I remember, and I can't even remember. I can't believe like how good a World Series that was. So 1991 is out for On Base. 1995 I have for On Base, in 1998 I have for On Base. So 95, obviously, that was the year the Braves won it. I wanted to get that out there and have that season. That's what these are from. So these cards here are from the 1995 set. So you got all your guys: McGriff, Justice, Klesko, Lemke, Javi Lopez, Belliard. You know, these are all the guys that I grew up and got to know. And so 95 is there. And then the home run chase in 98, I've got that one as well. And then there are some seasons in the 2000s, including the most recent season. So if you're keeping up with baseball now, then I've got everything from 2019 all the way to today, except for 2020. I haven't done a set for 2020. So 19, 21, 22, 23 are all available in On Base Baseball, and also some older seasons. So back in 1941 is a free download. So if you want to try everything there is to have with On Base Baseball with the PDFs, you can download the 1941 season. That's totally free. You get the cards, you get the roster sheets, you get everything, just as if you bought a season. 1967 is in there. 1969 is in there. 1972, 1975, 1970. I think I was working on 79. And we got 1980. So there's plenty of sets to choose from if you like classic baseball, and I'm trying to fill those in as we go. I also have a football game. I also have a basketball game. I have another baseball game, Precision Baseball, which is a way more detailed version of baseball than this, and it's really modern. So it's only going to be like from 2003 to today, because it uses a lot of StatCast data. So if you're into sabermetrics and you're into StatCast and you're into more modern advanced statistics, you can play that game and it will fill a role for you. It's super detailed in the base running and the fielding, and just something that you can check out. Go to clarkandaddisongaming.com. The first season is available. It's 2023, and I'm working on 2003 right now. I just finished the batters, so now I need to start working on the pitchers. But basically that, I'm working out how I can do those seasons pretty quickly, at least as quickly as I can. There's a little bit of massaging that has to go on with some of those, and maybe I just need to be a little bit better about creating formulas that do some automation. But there's a little bit of hand tuning that still has to be done with that game, even though a lot of it is done for me with the automation in the spreadsheet. But it's a very fun game, and I'm just trying to get down the workflow of like I have to bring together a lot of different pieces of content. So a lot of different tables have to come together into one single table that creates the cards. So just trying to decide how to do that, because when you're creating something, you're not really thinking about, okay, creating it for the purposes of creating more and creating a process. So you're just trying to get all the numbers. Sometimes you're doing things by hand, and sometimes you're like, well, I can automate this part. But when you're doing seasons that's all you're doing, and you're not creating the game anymore, you have to focus a little bit more on, okay, I need to streamline this just a little bit so it doesn't kill me. And I need to create a process. Okay, I do this first and I do this second. And then after all that layering, then the cards come together. So there's a little bit more that has to be done with that. I still have to create some ballparks, because in 2003, there are ballparks that didn't exist today. So, the ballpark at Arlington is one I have to create. So there's a few more things that have to be done. The expos are in the 2003 episode, or in 2003 season. And so I have to create Olympic Stadium. You know what I mean? So it's different things like that. So just working through 2003 and what that means. And so hopefully, maybe by the time the playoffs are finished, I'll have that finished. I work on it just a little bit each day, and I don't plan to play games all day. So maybe after I mow and do some other things I need to do today for Labor Day, I can get on and knock out the pictures for that game and see if I can get that into a little bit better place or a little bit closer place. But 2003 will be the 2003. That'll be the next season for Precision Baseball. So if you've bought that game, thank you. And if you're looking for another season, that'll be the next one coming out. Really terrific players in that 2003 season. The Braves were at the very tail end of their 14, division wins, division titles. And the Yankees were tough. You're 1 year before the Red Sox pull it off. And so the Red Sox were tough. Red Sox and Yankees, I remember during those times were like, that was appointment television in the championship series, watching those two teams go at it. So the A's were pretty good. That was sort of Moneyball A's. And so you're kind of getting to the tail end of Tejada and Chavi and Tim Hudson. You just got some guys, Zito and players like that who are sort of at the back end of that A's run, that really good A's run in the around 2000. And so just some really, really fun to go back and see them. A-Rod is a beast. Todd Helton is a beast. Who else? There was somebody else I saw. Pujols. Pujols is a beast. I mean, there's just some really good hitters, some really good players at that time. So I'll finish that up and get that out, and I'll make an announcement. You'll start to see me playing, and you'll know that I'm getting close when I start playing some games. And so I'll just do some test games to make sure everything works out okay. And that will be good as well. All right, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section. Like I said, you can also email me at clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com. Don't forget to go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and check out everything. If you want to use the contact form there to contact me, that comes to me as well. Any way you want to do it is fine. One of the best ways you can support me and what I'm doing is to purchase a game. Precision Baseball is only $12, and you get like almost 1,500 player cards and a really, really full game for $12. So I try to keep my game prices as low as I can while still being compensated for a lot of time being spent on this hobby. I think my wife would be happy if it could pay off, but I try not to let these things interfere too much in my life, just a little bit at a time. So if you want to know why it takes so long, I plod away a little bit at a time each day and just set aside a little bit of time each day to work on whatever game I'm working on at the moment. I'm also working on 1991 for play action football. So if you're into the coming football season, that should be coming pretty soon. I'm about halfway through the player cards on that and kind of switching some things up just a little with how that game is played, and still testing that out. There might be a better way to go than what I've been doing. I might be doing overkill, I guess is what I'm saying. So maybe I can push things out a little bit faster if I can streamline some things a little more while still not sacrificing the statistics and things like that have made the game as good as it is. So that'll be coming soon. Look for 1991. Great season. You're getting into like the Buffalo Bills and the early Cowboys dynasty and the 49ers and I don't know. I don't even remember who else was good back then. The Broncos. Like that's sort of John Elway Bronco territory. So a lot of really good teams back then, and that was sort of a moment for me to like the first realizations of watching playoff football and stuff like that. So that was kind of in that golden age for me as well. I'm 46, so for any of us who are 40 to 50, that's kind of a golden age of football for us, the early to mid 90s. And so that'll be a season coming out as well. Warren Moon was in there. I remember Warren Moon with the Oilers just lighting people up. It was crazy. So look for that coming soon. Up-tempo basketball is always on the horizon. I've got everything set up to streamline that. It takes me maybe a week to make and just kind of piddling away at it a week to make a up-tempo basketball season. If I did it all day, every day, it'd only take a couple of days to do a season. I'm also considering doing a college football version of play action football. So maybe just doing the top 25 teams at the end of the regular season. So pre-bowls, and just do the top 25 teams for them. I think I have the correct stats for that to be able to create, to do the formulas that I need to do to make those values. And so I'm going to try that out too and see. 2005, you know, that's the season for me. That's when the Horns won it, and Vince Young beat Reggie Bush and Leinart and all those guys at USC. Greatest game maybe ever in the history of college football championships. And VY came through at the end. Just, I mean, I still remember. It's so vivid. Anyway, that's my favorite college football season. I didn't see all those old 70s wins for the Horns. So 2005 is what I have. And I'll probably start with that one just so I can replay that championship game between USC and Texas. And then and I'll test it out with that, and I'll see how things go just to make sure everything is okay and that everything plays well with those teams. So, yep, that's it. I've been talking for a while. If you're still here, thanks. If you're still supporting what I'm doing, thanks. I really appreciate it. I'm a newbie into this game, and so anybody supporting me is a win. And so I appreciate everyone's support, both monetarily and just encouraging me to continue forward and to create games that are a little bit different than what most people are making these days. And just that there's a place out there to think a little bit differently about tabletop gaming and what we can bring to the table. All right, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.